We think we know the map of our world. We trace the outlines of continents, name the oceans, and claim there are no frontiers left. We are wrong. To the naked eye, Antarctica is just a void. It is the bottom of the world, an endless blinding expanse of white that stretches to the curvature of the Earth. It is the coldest, driest, windiest place on the planet, a landscape that appears to be a graveyard of ice, static, and dead. But this silence is a lie. If you were to strip away the frozen shell, peeling back the white layer like the skin of an orange, you wouldn't find a flat, empty wasteland. You would find a second world, a lost continent, entirely hidden from the sun for millions of years, trapped in a time capsule of pressure and cold. What if I told you that beneath 2 miles of crushing ice, there are rivers flowing in the absolute darkness? That there are canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon and mountain ranges that rival the European Alps, standing tall in a tomb of ice? We look at the surface and see a desert, but beneath our feet lies a buried frontier, a place that challenges everything we know about biology, geology, and the history of our planet. This is not just a block of ice. It is a vault waiting to be opened. For centuries, this landscape guarded its secrets with a ferocity unmatched anywhere else on Earth. The barrier here is not just the cold, it is the depth. The ice sheet averages over 2 kilometers thick, and in some places, it plunges nearly 5 kilometers deep. It is a weight so immense, millions of gigatons, that it actually depresses the Earth's crust, pushing the bedrock down into the mantle. If the ice were removed instantly, the continent would spring back up, causing earthquakes that would ring around the world. Because of this hostility, humanity could only scratch the surface for decades. We stood on top of the vault, shivering, unaware of the cathedral beneath us. Early explorers died just trying to cross the skin of this beast. But modern technology has finally handed us the key. In 2008, a massive international mission, known as the AGAP project, launched a fleet of aircraft over the most remote parts of the continent. Battling temperatures of -40 degrees and winds that could tear a plane apart, they used advanced ice-penetrating radar and gravity surveys to X-ray the continent. They were looking for the bedrock. What they found didn't just fill in a blank spot on the map. It rewrote the geological history of the Southern Hemisphere. What the sensors revealed shocked the scientific world. The radar data didn't show a flat plain crushed by the weight of glaciers. Instead, it traced the jagged outline of a monster. Buried deep within the interior, completely invisible from the surface, lies the Gamburtsev mountain range. These are not mere hills or eroded stumps. They are sharp, jagged peaks soaring nearly 3,000 meters high, stretching across an area the size of the European Alps. This discovery presented a terrifying paradox to geologists. Ancient mountains should be worn down, smooth and rounded like the Appalachians. But the Gamburtsevs look young, sharp, and aggressive. Yet, not a single human eye has ever gazed upon them. They are ghost mountains. While wind, rain, and time have eroded the surface mountains we know, the Gamburtsevs remain frozen in time. The ice has not crushed them, it has embalmed them. They stand in eternal darkness, their sharp ridges protected from the elements, looking exactly as they did 34 million years ago. It turns out, these mountains were the birthplace of the ice itself, the nucleation point where the first glaciers formed, eventually growing to swallow the entire continent. But the rocks tell an even stranger story. a story of a time before the silence. If you were to stand in this exact spot 90 million years ago, near the Beardmore Glacier, you wouldn't need a parka. You would need to watch for predators. Fossil evidence and ancient pollen samples retrieved from deep sediment cores suggest that this frozen hell was once a lush, temperate rainforest. The temperature would have been comfortable, perhaps around 12 degrees Celsius on average. During the Cretaceous and early Jurassic periods, Antarctica was a green paradise. We know this because we have found the bodies. High on Mount Kirkpatrick, paleontologists discovered the Cryolophosaurus, a 20-foot-long carnivore with a bizarre crest-like bone on its head. This frozen crested lizard didn't hunt on ice floes. It hunted in dense forests of conifers and ferns. Imagine a world where dinosaurs roamed through swamps that are now crushed under megatons of ice. Imagine a time when there was no polar ice cap, only endless green canopies stretching to the horizon. It is a stark, haunting reminder of how drastically our planet can change. The white desert we see today is merely a temporary state, a frozen mask worn by a continent that once teemed with vibrant, breathing life. And perhaps it will again. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery is not the rock or the fossils, but the water. We tend to think of the base of the ice sheet as solid, frozen to the bedrock. But we were wrong. The immense pressure of the ice creates enough geothermal heat to melt the underside, creating a lubricated network of liquid rivers flowing in the dark. There are over 400 known subglacial lakes down there. The largest is Lake Vostok. It is a body of liquid water, roughly the size of Lake Ontario, sealed off from the rest of the planet for perhaps 15 million years. The story of reaching this lake is a thriller in itself. Russian scientists at Vostok Station drilled for decades, going deeper and deeper into the ice core. But as they approached the waterline, they stopped. They realized that their drill, contaminated with kerosene and bacteria from the surface, could destroy one of the most pristine environments in the universe. In this pitch-black, high-pressure environment, life may have found a way. Researchers speculate that this hidden ocean could harbor ancient microbial life, organisms that have evolved in total isolation. These wouldn't be like surface life that relies on photosynthesis and the sun. These would be extremophiles, surviving on chemical energy from the bedrock, much like aliens might survive in the subsurface oceans of Jupiter's moon, Europa. Lake Vostok isn't just a lake, it is a test run for finding life in outer space. We must remember that this hidden continent is not merely a static museum of the past. It is a sleeping giant. As global temperatures rise, the lock is breaking. The ice that shields these ghost mountains and ancient lakes is thinning. The water that flows beneath accelerates the slide of glaciers into the sea, acting like a conveyor belt for the ice shelf. We look to the stars to find new worlds, obsessing over Mars and beyond, forgetting that one remains unexplored beneath our feet. Antarctica is the keeper of Earth's deepest history, but its melting ice holds the definitive key to our future. If the ghost mountains are ever revealed to the naked eye again, it will mean that human civilization as we know it has been drowned. When the silence finally breaks, the whole world will hear it. If you want to explore more hidden corners of our planet, join us in The Last Silence. Subscribe.